Everyone take a big deep breath. All right. Today I want to talk about self-sabotage. I want to talk about self-sabotage. And self-sabotage is something that I have dealt with and do deal with myself, and I've been doing this work for a long time. And it is the thing that if you don't, hello Mama Panda, hello Daisha, if you don't understand the forms of self-sabotage, why you self-sabotage, and don't get help to move through that, you will never ever, or your progress will be so slow in your life, you will not get what you say that you want, right? So let's just talk about self-sabotage for a moment. So self-sabotage is basically this. Self-sabotage is you say you want one thing, and then you start to move in the direction of getting that thing, the relationship, the career, the body, the whatever, and you start to do a few things, and then suddenly, and most of the time it's unconscious, suddenly you create diversions on your way to getting your goal, right? You create diversions on losing the weight. You create diversions on having that relationship you want. You create diversions on getting yourself out of the socioeconomic place that you are, right? That is what self-sabotage is. Now, I'm going to tell you this. So does that make sense, everybody? Say yes if you believe that you self-sabotage. We all do. Deal with this problem often. Doing that right now with weight loss. Yes. Okay? We're going to talk about that, Dijon. You subconsciously create diversions. Now, what I want to talk about today is one of the top diversions. One of the top diversions of how you self-sabotage. It's not in my opinion, it's not the top one, but it's right up there. Now, here's the deal. A diversion almost always, not always, but many times comes in the form of an excuse. Self-medication, right? That's right. Diversion. It comes in a form of an excuse, right? So, the self-sabotage comes in the form of an excuse. From your point of view, many times, you're like, of course. Hello, Karina. Of course. This excuse is very valid. It's very valid. I haven't lost weight enough, so no one will love me. I didn't get the nose job, so no one thinks I'm pretty. I have too much work on my plate right now, so I can't go work on my business. All those different things. Self-sabotage equals diversion equals excuse. Very good, Dijon. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest excuses. And this is something that if you do not get a hold of, you're never going to accomplish your dreams. Right? Right? Diane, I hate to tell you this, but if you know excuses so well, here's the deal. Not everybody. If you know excuses so well, then you have to really look at your relationship with yourself. But let's talk about that in a second. Here it is. Like that song. Gonna get it, never gonna get it. That's right. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Now, so here's the deal. I think that there's 2 or 3 excuses that are the biggest excuse. And you will be able to rationalize this excuse up one side, down the other. And here it is. I'm too busy. It also comes in the form of, I don't have enough time. I'm too busy, or I don't have enough time to do that. We're going to talk about the busy and the time thing, right? So, what people will do is they'll say, okay, let's just take weight loss, or let's take whatever it happens to be. If you have a goal that you're like, I really want to change my relationship with myself. I'm sick is one of them. Good morning, Chrissy. So, are we frozen? Yeah, it's not going to work out anyway. I'm talking about the form. That's the reason. That's the reason. Are we frozen? No. Okay. All right. So, let's just take... you will state, I'm going to do whatever it takes to change my relationship with myself. This is my work, right? People will come to me. They will say, because what I always recommend is you've got to heal your relationship with yourself, right? And that takes work. And that takes breaking through boundaries. And breaking through boundaries of what you believe you are so you can have a new relationship with yourself, right? So, here's the deal. People will start to do it. They will say, okay, I'm going to meet with you on this day, and 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 they'll put it in their calendar. And I will say, take out your calendar. You're going to do it this day, this day, this day. This is what you're going to do. And then guess what happens? Not with everybody, but... they will start to go, oh, I can't because I have a doctor's appointment. Oh, I can't because my kid. Oh, I can't because I broke my ankle. I can't because this. Oh, I have an appointment over here, and then I have a thing over here, and now I'm just too tired to do the work. I just can't do it because then they come with another excuse, I'm not focused enough. So if I'm not focused enough, then I can't do the work. That all is a form of self-sabotage. I'm just too busy. I'll never be able to fit it in. And then this is what happens. Then the G word starts to rear its ugly head. What do you think the G word is? Of course emergencies happen. I'm not saying emergencies don't happen. What's the G word? Guilt. 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 Now, then you start to feel guilty. And then you start to be like, oh, I said I was going to do this work, and now I'm putting this stuff, and now I'm going to feel guilty. And then guess what happens? And then guess what happens? Guess what happens? Guess what happens? Then you give up. Then you give up. And then, The Land of Rape and Honey is my favorite album. Then you give up. Shame goes along with guilt. Shame goes along with guilt. And then you're right back where you started. Then you're right back where you started. And that loop, which we've talked about here, is the loop of inspiration and failure. The loop of inspiration and failure. Loop of inspiration and failure, right? And here's the deal. You never forget your potential, and you always know your potential. But the thing about it is that you end up giving up and stopping on your way to your goal. And I'll tell you when you stop, when you start making the time excuse, I'm too busy, is because, can you please not use that kind of language here, please? It's because you're getting to a point where you're going to make a breakthrough. And when you get to a point where you're going to make a breakthrough, right there is where the excuse bandwagon starts coming up. And the closer you get to making the breakthrough to go through the door, the excuses come. The excuses come. And the excuse that I hear more and more and more is the time excuse. I'm just too busy. I'm too busy. Right. The fear comes up, and when the fear comes up, that's when you start to make an excuse. But I have to say this. Say this. Thank you. Breaking through the fear is not as scary as you think. But it's not as scary as you think. And you can break through the fear. And the thing I want to tell you this, thank you so much, thank you. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. Because this is what happens. When you start to feel When you start to feel that guilt, you know you wanted to write the book and you haven't done it yet. You know you've wanted to really heal your relationship with yourself so you feel peace and joy and have that amazing life, and you haven't done it yet. You know you really want to lose that 10 pounds and you haven't done it yet. It's not your fault. Because as soon as you start to blame yourself and kick your own ass because there must be something wrong with me because I keep saying this and I'm not doing it, it's not your fault. Take a deep breath. The reason is that your brain has been programmed to do that thing. Your brain has been programmed to do that thing. That's right, Cece. And when your brain is programmed to do something, changing that pattern takes work. And it's almost impossible to do on your own. It's almost impossible to do on your own. You can, but it takes having someone that sees a bigger vision of you, that sees you as a successful author, that sees you as losing 10 pounds, as sees you as already that, to stand by your side and go, no, you're not going to do that now, you're going to do this. Oh, no, I don't care if you don't have time, you are going to get up at 3 in the morning and you're going to do the homework. I don't care if you're too busy, you're not going to do something, because what happens all the time is that just by your own cognition, you will keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And when you keep doing that thing, you're going to get the same results. You have to do something different to get a different results. Right? So, what I want to tell you is insanity, the form of insanity, is that it's not your fault that you self-sabotage. It is a function of the brain. It is the function of the brain. And if you know the excuses you use, it can already be in your mind like, aha, there's my brain trying to do the same thing I've done for 30 years. There's my brain trying to tell me that I can't do that. You have to know your excuses. You have to know when it's an excuse. And guess what happens is when you start to have your excuses, when the self-sabotage wheel starts to turn, you have to be able to be willing to hear that it might be an excuse. Take a deep breath. Because if you're willing to hear that it might be excuse, because you don't think it's an excuse, you state it as a reason. You state it as a fact. And if you are able to train yourself, you're welcome, Hera, to, instead of understanding when you have someone from the outside going, that's an excuse, instead of defending all the reasons why that is the truth, you could have a very busy schedule, and you will stand by and go, oh no, you're ridiculous. I can't do it. I can't do 15 minutes of meditation because I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this, I have this, I have this. And you will defend it, but in that moment when you realize it, if you can stop and you can go, wait, maybe I'm making an excuse here, you're on your road to changing your brain. And when you change your brain, everything else will start to change. That is the only way to really have true, lasting change. Right? Take a big, deep breath. So today I pointed out one of the biggest excuses. I'm too busy and I don't have enough time. Every time you say I'm too busy and I don't have enough time, I want you to think of me and go, yeah, that guy on my phone told me every time I say I'm too busy to do what I say I'm going to do, to stop and see where it is. Do I need to defend my agenda? My agenda and my appointments. Or do I stop right now and say, you know what? I can find 15 minutes. I can find 15 minutes. Because here's the truth. Vyagi, this is what I do for a living. So, if you are really ready to change, you find someone to help you, like me, who's a professional in being the I kick your ass with love person. Hi, John. I kick your ass with love person. To say, listen, I know, I hear all those things, but you're going to do it anyway. And Callie, that was my next point. Because if you really want something, and it's the truth of who you are, you'll find the time. You will find the time. You will find the time. Think about anyone that has made a big change in their life. They will find the time. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or they look at their schedule and they go, well, I don't really have to do that, so now I have an hour, right? And that is the truth. And that's the truth.